Hi, welcome to Knitting with a Capital K. My name is Bethany and I've been knitting with a capital K for almost 2 years now. Just been building my skills and learning new stitches and along the way sharing them with you. If you haven't subscribed yet but you've been lurking for a little while, you're welcome to lurk, but you're also welcome to subscribe so that you know when I post a new video. I'm going to be doing some new things soon that aren't just the podcast format. I've done a couple of them about the Shawlography cowl. So if you were worried that I was going to show that during the podcast, don't worry. I have separate videos for that so that you have to see them on purpose if you want the spoilers on purpose. I am excited to talk to you guys about knitting tonight. I have been on a trip. I was on a trip. I came back and my sister came to visit, and it was just lovely to have all that family time. It did throw me off of my schedule, not just podcast-wise, but also just life-wise. And so our house feels like it's exploded and still catching up with a few things, but I'm excited to delve into our knitting process here. I have stuff all around me. I have my little candle here. I have my vanilla chai, which I've just realized is another thing that I really like. I'm usually a hot chocolate person. Through and through, hot chocolate has my loyalty for sure. But the chai is making it for me this autumn. It's really great. And it's not anything special. It's just some mixed thing from Walmart that you had to milk, but it's super good. And this mug is one of my favorites. It is from my sister. She gave it to me for my birthday. It is a drawing of an alien from Nathan's Strange Planet, I think is his Instagram name, and his cartoons are really funny about just human culture and weird stuff that we do, and I find it very amusing. And this chai is really, really good. So, if you want, grab yourself a drink. Maybe grab your knitting or your crocheting or whatever. All crafters are welcome here. And, let's talk about some finished objects. I'm really excited. I have a couple in my lap here. The one that I showed, well, let's start with the secret one. I did one on my trip for my nephew, and this, guys, is the bunny saga is almost complete. It's crazy. I'm so excited about it. This is a hood cowl deal, and it has bunny ears on it for him. It is made of Lion Brand's WoolEase Thick and Quick. I don't normally use acrylic yarn anymore because I don't prefer that for myself, but for kid knits, I think it has a really good place because it's just so washable. And this has a percentage of wool in it, so I mean, I guess acrylic yarn, as with all other, fiber content stuff, if it says 100% cotton or 100% wool, it's not entirely sure what it feels like, but I feel like I can feel the wool in it. But maybe they just made it a little toothier in the acrylic. I love the tweed in there. That's really great. Also, the way the cowl piece knit up, the way those colors are in there, I really like that. That was really cute. I did misunderstand the pattern, and I think that's why my gauge was so off. So as you can see, these are super bulky, and this color's just, I still really like it, the way it's marled in there. And it was a super fast knit because it was super bulky, but I didn't realize it was only supposed to be a chunky knit. So when there's the little number, right, the little number on your yarn. Like for this one, it has a 3. Can you see that? The 3 right there. I'm closing one eye because my left eye is actually the better eye and I don't see very well. So this is a DK weight because it's a 3, right? And with different yarns, it'll say sometimes that it will be so many wraps per inch. So like if you wrapped it around, I don't even know what you're supposed to wrap it around. Maybe your finger? Maybe the size knitting needle that it's meant for? I don't think it really matters because it's the thickness of the yarn. Got myself there. Yeah, so it's the thickness of the yarn, so it doesn't really matter what you wrap it around. It's supposed to be so many wraps per inch. At the beginning of this pattern, it said bulky or chunky, in parentheses, 7 WPI, comma, something else, comma, like 5, right? Which the 5 is what I was supposed to be going for. But since I saw 7 WPI, and I didn't even think about what that meant, I just saw a 7 next to the word chunky, so I looked for the 7 at the store, and 7 is super bulky. So even though this is the baby stitch count, this is the size of an adult head. Like, I put it on and it fits it doesn't fit my face. Like, this part comes up to my mouth, but I can fit this on my head. And the cowl part, actually, if I put it on, it's right here. So I have to like, I have to pull it down like this, right? So obviously this is big on my nephew. He just turned 2, but it actually looks really cute on him. And my sister's very sweet. And when I finished it and I figured out my mistake, friends, I knew I was doing something wrong. So the first day that I tried to get it done, I was probably here and I thought, no, this isn't right. This can't be right. And I tried to decrease a bunch and then I ended up decreasing too much and it wasn't good. So then I frogged it and I was like, I'm just going to follow the pattern. I'm just going to trust the process, which would have worked had I been using the correct weight yarn. But it's still really cute and he can grow into it, so that's nice. Or I can wear it if he doesn't want to wear it. So, but it was super cute on him, and I'm hoping that it will keep him warm when he needs to be warm. If you were here a few episodes ago for the frog and toad stuffies that I made with the micro glass beads in them, he's in love with those. And because it's filled with micro beads instead of like stuffing, you can heat them up, or you could put them in the freezer too, but you can heat them up, and she's been heating them up and giving them to him in the car when it's cold in the morning and stuff, and it's just so cute. So yeah, my sister is just very very knitworthy. So the last, I realize I have another finished object I need to show you, but I'm going to show you one whip before I move on to that, because you won't actually see this before it's done completely, because I'm going to finish it tomorrow morning, hopefully, and mail it off to her along with that bunny one, because I asked her if I could keep them for the podcast. And she's great, so she said yes. This bunny hoodie is just a regular hoodie right now because I made the ears. I just finished the ears today, and I need to, what you do is you sew them onto the hood. And so I'm going to be sewing them on the hood and then making the little circle, little crochet circle that keeps the button on, and then it'll be all done in the morning. There's also a button that's supposed to go on the bunny cowl, but I think it's just decorative. So I'm going to give them some matching buttons And this one is made of Lily's Sugar and Cream cotton yarn. Now this is the last of the cotton bunny hoodies. And I will say in the future, if I want to make a cotton knit, I'm probably going to think twice about it, because by the end of these, my hands were always suffering a little bit. And I think had I given myself the leeway to work on other projects in between, it wouldn't have been that way, but it was. And obviously this is going to shrink lengthwise as we wash it, because right now I could probably wear it. And even though our 6-year-olds are ginormous for their category, they're not quite our size yet. I think we're able to share socks with our sons, but at least I'm able to share socks with my son. It's getting there. We're already, I look at him like, this is crazy. So, I digress. Sorry, the motherhood just, it leaps out of me sometimes. Also, this is the only short-sleeved one. When I went to talk to him about it, I said, hey buddy, would you prefer long sleeves or short sleeves? Because I thought, if he wants short sleeves, why would I knit him the long sleeve version? And he said, I actually prefer short sleeves. And I said, oh, great. So, so that was really cute. And I got that done. And he asked me if I would line it in yellow fleece after the hoodie part was done. So I'm actually like trying to figure out how I could possibly do that. Or if I could, next time I see him, get that done or something, because I thought that was adorable. He was like, I have an enhancement for you for this project that we've both been invested in, and that was really sweet. So I'm gonna finish that tomorrow. All patterns and everything are gonna be in the show notes. This bunny hoodie is, I know you can find it online at outstandingcrochet.com. But it is a knitting pattern. There are a few crochet details on it, which I was not expecting when I got the pattern, but I'm actually glad, especially after this 5th one now, to have some basic crochet skills. And when I say basic, I really do mean very basic crochet skills, because the finishing on that as compared to what I was doing the first time to try and get it to get the ears right, this is just great compared to that. So that is the end of the bunny sweater saga. Isn't that great? Now I know some of you are thinking, Bethany, you have 4 children, and if that one's for your nephew, then that means you have only knit 3 for your children, and you would be right. I'm not knitting a bunny sweater for the littlest guy, because he already wears his sister's, the gray one. He already wears that one more than she does. And I think by the time I would have his finished, I would be needing to knit another one for his older brother anyway. And so it would just kind of go down the line. So, so I just cuff the sleeves on the gray one when he wants to wear it. And he actually does hop around with it on. It's adorable. Oh, okay, so that is the hood sweater obviously could be a finished object in and of itself. It's not, because it's not to pattern. But it will be a finished object in the morning. So I'm not counting it as that for the podcast, of course, but you won't be able to see it when it's done. I'm hopefully going to do it tomorrow morning and send it off. And then they'll just be bunny wearing hoodlums, right? So next is my next finished object. Isn't this so great? Oh, look at the texture on that. Look at that. Oh yeah, it's so good. Love that. It's scrumptious, really. And this is a test knit for Katie Anders. Oh my goodness, my brain literally stopped. It's for Katie Anders. This is her pumpkin spice sock pattern, and it is in amber waves of fiber. The colorway is called Pair Caravel, and I love it. I love the way it knits up. I think this is just one of those where like and it came with this pumpkin-y orange as a mini with it. So this is that ball band. I can never tell if it's focusing when I have it in front of my face. There we go. And it's called Pair Caravel. It is a 75-25 of superwash merino and nylon in the fingering weight, in the simple sock base. It's so nice to work with. It's just scrumptious, and I'm really excited to actually block this one. I haven't blocked my previous socks because I haven't felt the need to, but with this one, because of the textured pattern, I think it's just gonna bloom and be beautiful. I can't keep my hands off it, see? It's just, oh, so yummy. So yummy. And it came with a 20-gram mini, so I think the cuffs, toes, and heels, I was going to say and socks. Cuffs, toes, and heels will have plenty left even after the second sock. So, who knows what I'll do next. But I'm excited about these socks. Obviously, I'm adding them to my other two single socks that I have going right now, or that I have done over there. And I might just wear these as a pair of socks for a minute until I get the other ones done. These are a pair of, this is one of a pair, I have the other one over there, of sock blockers. They're vintage cedar sock blockers, and the toe was much too long. It was probably out to here when I got them, and I thought, oh, whatever, you know, that's probably, guys, I'm just really spatially challenged. I never picked the right Tupperware container. It's rough. So when I put a pair of socks on them, and after I had them on there for a minute, it was not right. When I put them on my foot and I was like, oh, these are real floppy. That's not right. So I cut them to where they needed to be, and then I sanded them the other day to the right, you know, curvature for that. And then I just gave the whole thing a light little sand with a 220 sandpaper, because when you have cedar and it's supposed to be a moth preventer, you have to be able to smell it for it to be preventing moths. So if you have a sachet or something with cedar in it, obviously you can't sand that, so you could just like give it a good old rub down there, and that's what actually is most helpful in keeping the moths away. I'm sure once it ate through your sock and got to the cedar, it would be like gross, bleh, and then would leave your sock alone, but you're already to that point. So these are my autumn socks. I need to knit the partner to them, but I like them a lot, and I didn't think I'd have more than one pair of autumn socks, and that's really great. So I'm actually going to put them on because they're going to be really cozy, and I only have one pair of wool socks that I knit myself as of now, and these are just going to be funny for a little bit until I get their counterparts done. Oh, that is very nice. That is nice to have another set of wool socks, even though they don't match. Okay, so we talked about pumpkin spice. So I need to knit up the other sock. Katie is coming out with the pattern on the 15th. So if you're watching this after the 15th, it's already there. She has her own website, katieandersknits.com. She's also on Instagram as Katie Anders Knits. And I'll have a link to that in the description box as soon as it comes out. I'll edit that so that it'll be updated. She also did the Snowy Day sock, and I was able to do the test knit for that one too, which was really fun. And then she has another one that she released in between called Out of the Woods, and that texture looks really nice too. I bought the pattern. I have yet to knit the sock, but I'm really, I want to. It looks really good. Okay, next whip is in my Stitchy Girl studio bag, my Star Wars bag. I love it. My son also really loves it. All the other bags that I have, I've made myself. So if you have any questions about those, I just made them myself. According to Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears Project Bag Tutorials. So here is Will's birthday socks. We are through the heel, into the gusset decreases, barely into the gusset decreases, and I am really liking it. I wasn't sure if the gusset or if the heel flap was what I wanted for this self-striping yarn, but I think it's turning out really well. What I had planned on, you can tell here on the front of the leg where the stripes start getting thinner, of course, and so I stopped to do the heel right at the end of this orange here, because I figured that the most likely thing that would happen is that one of these light blue stripes, since they're every other, would meet us again at that point. And I was right, and it worked out pretty well. But now I'm wondering if I'll be able to do that with the next one. You know, when you do something and you're like, oh yeah, that was great, and you're not sure if you'll be able to replicate it. So we shall see. We shall see. Poor guy, he's been waiting a month. Actually, today's exactly a month since I cast them on. So now that I have that test knit done, and the bunnies done, I think this will be getting some more love, especially when I'm done with the leg. I always feel like it goes faster. I don't know why. Is that cuff down sock people? Do you feel like that? Do you, or I don't know. That's how I feel about it. It's just a mind game, right? It's just a mind game. So I have two new cast-ons that I'm going to show you, right? Just the two. Because, like I said, I'm not going to show you my Shawlography, even though it's right there, and I really want to work on it. And after that, I'll talk to you about some acquisitions that I got while I was on vacation. It was just a trip with my kids, but it felt like vacation. So the first thing I cast on was a Musselburgh. I know I'm late to the party, but I'm very excited to be here. This is the Woolens and Nosh yarn. It is based off of the colors of the show The Mandalorian, so this is a very nerdy knit. And the colorway is called This Is the Way. And if you've seen that show, you know they say that phrase all the time. In kind of a culty way, actually. But I'm really satisfied with how it's knitting up. I love the stripes. I love the colors. I'm gonna love wearing it. I really like slouchy hats. I'm also thinking I might do the Jonathan Days mod, which is doing, he put cashmere on the inside of his, and I thought that sounds so wonderful. But I don't know if I can drop cashmere money down right now. But also, who knows, you know, who knows? It might take me a while to get this done, and at that point, maybe I can drop some cashmere money. I am now quite a bit into it, so it's just stockinette. And if you haven't heard of the Musselburgh before, it's pretty great. Number one, just because the product itself, when you're done with it, looks nice. And number two, it's an any weight of yarn pattern. So whatever yarn you want to make it in, it's fingering through worsted weight. You can just start your project. You don't have to swatch because the project in itself is the swatch that you're measuring. So you start your little pinhole cast on here with which obviously you have to use DPNs for, but then you can switch to your circular needle if you want. And I'm just getting really cozy in my chair. And then once you have enough, you've done, you know, a few increases there, then you measure how many stitches per inch you're at, which is great because when you're doing your gauge in the round, you're supposed to be, like, when your project is in the round, you're supposed to be measuring your gauge in the round too. And I just love that when projects basically just let you start and then make adjustments after you've already started. That I really like that. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with the inside yet. I want it to be super soft. We'll see. Maybe I'll just keep knitting with the yarn that, you know, that this is the way yarn. But I think I want to make a pair of DK weight socks with them because I haven't made a DK weight yet, and I think I would really enjoy having one. Because I just always have cold feet at night. I always have cold feet. So I'll walk around all day with socks on. And then when I get in bed, I'll take them off. But if I walk around during the day without socks on, then I'll get in bed and my feet are freezing. Socks are necessary for me. Always. I really want to get some under the floor heating sometime if we could ever afford that in a house that we might buy. Okay, next whip. This, guys, is a historical knit pattern. It's just great. I'll show it to you. This is yarn from Prairie. My sister works at Prairie. She is one of the interpreters there. She works in costume, so everything she wears has to be historically accurate and like made from what she would have been able to get a hold of and make during the time. And I believe the year is 1816. So 1816 in Indiana in the United States, what could a girl get, you know? And this candle is starting to sound weird. What could a woman of her means be able to get or make? So this is from Prairie itself. It's their hand spun yarn there from the sheep there, and it says that it is from the sheep's own color, which is cool, right? And it's a little over 50 grams. It's 2.1 ounces. And then, but you can see in here, I'll show you, it's been mixed with something else that's been dyed. And so I really love what's going on here. So you can see these yellows. There's like some yellows in there. There's red. There's blue. There's like this little bits of fuchsia right there. Yeah. I love what all is mixed up in there because they do naturally dyed yarns as well, and so I think it all just kind of got mixed up in this one, and I really like it. I'm making her some mitts because it's November, right, in Indiana, and she has to work outside quite a bit, and it is cold. It is very cold. So especially in the mornings. It's cold. So I am making her some mitts because she actually often knits on the grounds and she often cooks on the grounds. And I thought I would, if it were me, I would want some mitts and not some true mittens, you know, that I would have to take off. If anything, she can just pull those fingers in and warm them up. So this is the cuff. It's called a welt. These purl rows, right? So this is, there's purling and knitting, right? Like this. And that was their ribbing. There's even a part, so it comes from, shoot, I was going to show you the pattern. Did it fall? No, there it is. Okay. So this is the pattern. Can you see how small that is? This is like 4 sentences. And I'll read it to you because it's super small. It says, set on 22 loops on each of the 3 pins. Welt 20 rows. Knit 1 plain row. Next row alternate turn and plain. 3rd row plain. 4th row alternate plain and turn, so that the plain stitch is over the one that was turned before. So on till you come to the beginning of the thumb. Then knit backwards and forwards, leaving a hole for the thumb, then knit in the round again and finish with a welt. And then it has 1 sentence about how to do the thumb. So these are the welts, right? And there's even a part in the Workwoman's Guide, which is what the Workwoman's, darn it, the Workwoman's Guide, yeah, which was a book all about how women could cook food and make clothes and knit and do all the things. It was great. I think there's even like gardening stuff in there. Obviously I need to read it because I don't even know what it could offer me. But the knitting pattern was confusing at first for me because of course it's written assuming that you know what it's talking about. So I've finished the 20 rows of welts, and then this where the alternating turn, which is a purl stitch, alternating purl and knit stitches go on there. I did 1 repeat of that already, but it's not very easy to see. I'm holding this double because when I tried to set on 22 loops on my 3 pins, it was so big and it was not going to fit her. And then I sat there for a second contemplating, like, should I just continue with the way the pattern is? You know, that would that make it more historically accurate if I do it exactly how many stitches it says? And I don't think that would. Women of the time made adjustments. They were the queens of modification. They had to be, because they had to make things fit their families. So anyway, so what I'm doing is I'm holding this double, so that essentially there are, what did I cast on? I think 34 stitches. So there's 68. There would be 68 loops on here. Obviously I'm knitting some of those loops at the same time, but technically we're close. So it's very nice. It's very fuzzy. I keep pulling little bits of hay out of it as I am knitting, which is great. I've never knit with stuff like this before, and I really like it. If I could get my hands on enough to knit her a shawl, I think I'll do that next, because she has said that she really enjoys shawls right now because they keep her warm at work. We were talking about the Shawlography and how I was laughing because I'm not even really a shawl person, and I'm knitting this ginormous colorful shawl, and she was like, oh, I love shawls, they're great at work. And I thought, oh well, yeah, well of course you would love them. It's like wearing a blanket at work. Okay, that's it, guys. I'm hoping to get those mitts done quickly because it is November and it would be nice for her to get them sooner rather than later. Okay, moving on. Is it already time to move on? All right. My hopes and dreams for the Unwind cardigan are still on hold because because I ordered some Let Lopi yarn, which I'm still going to be getting more of because I do like it. I really like the Galaxy colorway, and I wanted to use that for the black that's in that cardigan. And I was thinking about using my green, you know what, I'll just show you because I told Beverly at my local yarn shop that I should show you guys the yarn storage situation that my husband built for me. He at one point called the small stash I had a while back a hoard of yarn, and I laughed really hard because I thought, dude, you have no idea the stashes I've seen. But after calling it a hoard of yarn and me laughing really hard, he was very sweet and built me this yarn storage up here. It's this honeycomb shelving, and that up there is Holstgarn. It's one of the 500-gram cones, and it is in the colorway Tundra, and it's this really great like huntery green. And I was thinking I would put that with the Galaxy with this, which is the Let Lopi in the colorway. Well, darn. Where is it? I don't see it, guys. It says shade. Latour shade? No. It's a light gray. So it's not white necessarily, but it's not. I think next to the Galaxy and next to the green Holstgarn, it's going to look pretty light. I need more, obviously, of this. I ordered it, and I ordered some Galaxy with it as well, thinking, okay, well, I'll get this, and then if I need to order a few more skeins, that's totally fine. I'll get that done. And then they emailed me and said that the Galaxy colorway was out of stock, and would I like a refund, or would I like to wait until the Galaxy was back in stock? Did not see their email at all. They were totally prompt. And after probably 2 weeks, no, maybe 3, I thought, man, that's taking a long time. And then I searched my email and found they'd already tried to talk to me about it. So I said, well, just go ahead and refund me and send me the yarn that's there now. And I still plan on getting the Galaxy colorway because I just think it's really great. Dan Jones of the Bakery Bears knit a sweater with that, and him showing it close up with all the different tones in it was really pretty. So that's still the plan, but we're still working on it. I did get quite a bit of souvenir yarn while I was out, and then when I got back from my trip, there were a couple of skeins waiting for me here that had come in the mail while I was gone, so it was like a lot of yarn. But it is great, and I have some notions too that I want to show you. I know, I keep piling yarn next to me, and you're like, oh my goodness, we know that you at least got the Connor Prairie yarn, and you just showed us the Let Lopi yarn, and I know, look, it just keeps going. Just keeps going. There. Lovely. Lovely, my hoard of yarn. Okay, first of all, I got some wool soak. I'm very excited about that. I'm going to be soaking my socks soon especially after I get these done. That's going to be really nice. This is in the fig scent. It is just called Soak. And I'm excited to use, it's still got like the sealed part on it, so it's like sucked in that way. But I'm excited to use it on my knits that I've done, especially when I'm done with my Shawlography. I'm excited to use this because I want to block it like, you know, like a pro. And while I was doing my Shawlography, it was just getting bunched up on my needles. I believe that he suggests, shoot, I forget, I think it's like a 40-inch needle or a 45-inch needle, or sorry, not needle, cord for the project. But I thought, you know what, this thing is going to be really wide, so I'm going to get a 60-inch cord. So I went to the yarn shop that was in Indiana that I knew of, and I said, I need this size, this length cord on this size needle. And so they handed me the cord, and they handed me these needles, and they are interchangeable. And I've never had interchangeable needles before, so it's very cool. This is the start of my accidental interchangeable needle journey, but I'm not too stoked about the tips. They're a little bit dull. Not, well, yeah, dull, I guess, on there. You know me, I'm a real big fan of the ChowGoos, and part of that is because of the tips. I really like them a lot. I haven't used the I believe what I use is the red lace ones, because it's the red cord and everything. And this cord, I think I need to like heat up or something, because when I was using, maybe with a heavier weight yarn, it wouldn't be so annoying, but it was curling all up on me, and I was not ready for that. So I immediately ordered a pair of fixed ChowGoo red lace 60-inch cord needles and had them delivered to me at my parents' house, because I'm not ready to be going. At this point, we're at over 400 stitches. I'm not doing that. I'm not messing with stuff that I don't want to mess with for that big of a project. Another thing that I got was a sewing awl. If you saw the photo on my stories, I need to add it to my grid still because they're so beautiful. I made those mittens for my mom, and I put leather on the palm of them, and it was great. The finished object was just really nice, but obviously I can't take a mitten and put it on my sewing machine very easily. So I got this sewing awl. It's very cool. If you've worked with a power drill before, this is actually really similar. So it's got like this little place, right, where you pick either your curved needle or your straight needle. You put it in there, right? You take your waxed thread, you thread it through the needle, and then you make sure it's in this little groove here, in this little groove, and then in this little groove, right? It goes through a hole there to go in that little groove. And then you put, uh-oh, that was the wrong hole. Oh no, what have I done? Oh no. Here, it goes over here. Okay. And then once you have it all set up, then you just screw it on there like you would with the bit of a drill, and tighten it up. And then since the thread is waxed, when you poke it through and then you pull it out a little bit, the waxed thread is gonna like loop a little bit when it's inside, and then you'll take the end, put it through the loop, and then pull it out. So it actually acts a lot like a hand sewing machine. it was really great to work with. My stitches were super uneven because this is the first time I've worked with sewing all, but it was really cool. It was really great. I want to work with those interchangeable needles, but also, and once I get that cord to be more flexible, I think it'll be great. But it also came with these little stoppers, which was nice. I think they're pretty. And so I'm hoping that it works out, that they are more usable later. This is my new Notions pouch. It's clear. It came from Hobby Lobby, and I like that it's clear, basically. That's the only thing. Obviously, I only have one big old Notions pouch that I'm keeping everything in right now. While I was traveling, I'm trying to think through what the best way to sort that out is. I don't have a million tape measures. I don't have a million pairs of snips. I don't have a million stitch markers. So, oh no! My amazing plan of throwing things on the bed didn't work out completely well. So yeah, I'm often switching things from one project bag to another. But this may be one of my favorite things. This is a needle case that I got at my local yarn shop. And so I won't be searching for my needles all the time anymore, which is nice because I'm going to need my needles tomorrow for when I'm doing those ears. So that has been actually one of the nicest notions because I'm not searching for my needles all the time. I was keeping them in my little tins, but one of them is a little bit too long and it kept like being jammed in there, and that I'm not about that. So now on to yarn acquisitions. Friends, we have now officially come into non-superwash territory, and I am here for it. Sorry, I've got a tickle or something here. Maybe it's from the smoke from the candle. Okay, so this beautiful stuff. Look at this. Isn't it this beautiful indigo purple? Oh, I love it. I am so excited about it. Another member of one of the Discord knitting groups I'm a part of, she just posted a message and said, I've been dyeing yarn, I've been dyeing too much yarn, and now I need to sell some of it. And so she posted probably 4 different colorways that she had dyed, and this one, oh, I was in love with it as soon as I saw it. It is a fingering weight yarn, 2-ply. It is non-superwash Highland wool, and thankfully she even put like care instructions on the little tag. But it's so pretty. So pretty. I want to put this in a garment somehow. I think it's just gonna be beautiful. Beautiful. Probably held together. Probably. But it's beautiful. So yeah, I could just stare at this all day. So yummy. So yummy. Speaking of something I could stare at all day, more yarn that I love the colorways of. And we're back. One of my kids was needing some help. This one is called Sneezy in Malabrigo sock. It's from their fairy tale collection, and so of course that's why it's called Sneezy. I think it's wonderful, and I think I'm gonna knit up the caramel socks by Hohi. I never know how to say her last name, but her first name is Hohi. It's spelled Joji, And her caramel sauce socks are just so, they have this lace pattern on the top, but the lace pattern is also somehow ribbing. I'm so excited to learn it. So excited to learn it. Also, so, and this one was from the Black Sheep Wool shop in Noblesville, Indiana. And it's the same place I got the knitting needles that I need to heat up. They were very nice there. Very nice. And this is one that was waiting for me when I got back. This one is from Moonstone Dye Works in the color Artemis. Of course, Artemis was the goddess of the hunt. And I did a study in high school of Roman and Greek mythology, and I'm a complete nerd about it. And Artemis is she's just way cooler, you know? She's just cool. She's just cool. So, yeah. She's like just worried about her own business most of the time, trying to take care of her family. Yeah. Athena and Aphrodite have got some weird rival stuff going on. And Aphrodite's a wimp, so Artemis all the way, you know? This is the thing, right? Everyone's going to be like, wow, she's a complete nerd. Loves Greek mythology, Roman mythology, has this is the way colorways in our hats. But that's the thing, we're all nerds about something, right? We all love something a lot and learn about it because we really like it. And I feel like the Venn diagram of like knitting and other nerd activities is, it just overlaps a lot. Overlaps a lot. This one is called Scout, which I've never seen this before. I did love the color, and this is the one I got while I was in Ohio visiting my sister. She was so sweet and made it a point to visit the shop that I told her was close to her house. And it's called, well, shoot. It's called Hank. Isn't that funny? It's called Hank, the Yarn Boutique. And this is 100% wool, and it is in a DK weight. And it's called Mulberry. It's so pretty. I really like it. I don't think I told, yeah, the other two, the one from Moonstone Dye Works was a sock base too. So I also got a couple things when I got back because I was looking for what I would want to put inside of the Musselburgh hat. And this might be it, but I don't know if it's soft enough. It's 100% wool. It's Patagonia. You guys know that I love the Juniper Moon Farm yarn. This is just a little more, shoot, it's blowing out. I don't know if this, there we go. It's just a little more, it's not as soft. I wanted something like buttery soft on the inside of the hat. And this is a really great yarn. I think it's just like I think it's just the natural color. Well, it's called Pearl, but it doesn't look dyed at all. So, yeah, it looks, I'm excited to put this in something too. It is organic merino. I'm trying to see. I don't think it's superwash, so I might just have to make sure to put all my non-superwash stuff together so that I don't make a mistake. This is also Juniper Moon Farm in the Harriet base, which is their baby alpaca, and I just thought this colorway was, oh, so great. The color is called Dark Harbor. Isn't it just so yummy? It is the softest stuff, you guys. It's so, oh, so good. I was thinking, if I can't find something as buttery as I want it to be, right? For the inside of the hat. Maybe what I should do is just add some Surrey alpaca, because I have loved this alpaca, right? Because this isn't gonna match what's on here. No, these aren't gonna match, right? So unless I like unless I did this a little over half and then it also folded in. But the whole point of me wanting to do something really soft is I would like for that to be on my ears. And so if I do it over, yeah, I would like for it to work as the brim. I don't know if you can hear that. I think that's a helicopter. I live on an army base, so there's some weird sounds sometimes, but we kind of tune them out because we've been here for a long time. Excuse me while I open this. This was waiting in the mail for me today. And guys, I tried to do this podcast a couple times this week and ran into issues. And so it was probably because I should be showing you this yarn from Katie Anders. Right? She does patterns and she does naturally dyed yarns. Aww, that's sweet. She just says, thank you so much for your order. I can't wait to see what you make with it. And her yarn company is called Yurt and Yarrow Yarns. Small batch hand-dyed yarns. Can you see it? There we go. And she does these naturally dyed yarns. You should follow her on Instagram because she shows a lot of the dyeing process with like onion skins and things like that, and it's just really cool. And this is what I got from her shop. Oof, look at that. This is a DK weight superwash, and the color is just so yummy. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, it's just so squishy. I saw this color and thought, please be there when I come back to you to buy you. And it was, one of them was left. So this is really great. She also has numbers on her colorways. So this one is just number 2. And I love it. She's going to be doing another shop update soon. I can't remember when, but if you follow her on Instagram, I'll put her down there. If you follow her on Instagram, she posts when her updates are coming, and she's been posting these new colorways that are really, it's all just lovely. It's all just lovely. And that, my friends, is the end of the acquisitions. So, next up is finishing the pairs of socks, right? And finishing the mitts and finishing the socks, because the rest of them are for me. The shawls for me. Well, I mean, the socks are for me too. So the mitts and the socks for Will are the ones that I need to finish up, because Christmas is coming. It's coming. It's November right now. And knitting takes time, especially for me. So I've been debating about how much knitwear I'm ready to commit to in the realm of gifts. I have the perfect idea for a gift for my mother for Christmas in knitwear. Every year, I'm not even going to be afraid to say this, because I don't think she even knows that I have a knitting podcast. I just shared with my husband that I have a knitting podcast, and that was kind of funny, because he says things that they're just funny to me, like Hoard of Yarn. And then I was talking to him about the Wes Knits M cowl, and I was like, so this is where I am, these are the colors I'm using, blah blah blah. And he looks at it, and then he looked at the picture that I was showing him of someone else's, and he goes, so are you behind? And in my head I was like, yes. But I told him, I was like, actually, I've been trying to tell myself that it's not a race, and like, I can go, I can do this at whatever pace I want. And actually, Stephen West says that in the tutorials, and he was like, okay, all right, okay. But then when I told him I had a knitting podcast, the first thing he said was, oh, yeah? Well, I was thinking you should have one. That's great. And I was just like, thanks. That's real nice. But anyway, I don't think my mother knows that I have it. And I don't plan on telling her about it until after I get her gift done. So, every year, for as long as I can remember, from when I was like a small child, we would ask my mother what she wants for Christmas, and she would say peace, love, and socks. She has said that every year that I can remember. If you ask her what she wants for Christmas, she says peace, love, and socks. So we've given her, of course, other gifts. But throughout the years, we've given her different renditions of what our interpretation of peace, love, and socks is. So there's always been socks and some symbolic thing around peace and love. So I was at the first knit night at my local yarn shop weeks ago. I feel like I've been there forever, but I've probably only been attending the knit nights at my yarn shop for a couple months now. And one of the girls that was there, she was only able to be there for that night, which was a pity because she was really nice, and I wish she had been able to stick around. But she said, well, why don't you knit her some socks? And on the socks you could knit love and peace. And I just thought, that's genius. That is genius. Why didn't I think of that? So I'm just going to, give them to my mom as if I thought of it. No, I'll probably end up telling her where they came from, but I think I'm actually going to put it on the tops of the toes. I was pointing to my toes as if you can see them. I thought about putting them on the bottoms of the feet, like in block letters, but I think I'm going to put them on the toes so that she can see them when she wears them. And, one of the things that I'd like to do for my dad that I don't think I will get done for Christmas is make him a Lincoln shawl. For a long time, my dad has, like, if it gets cold in the evening, he'll wrap like a small blanket around his shoulders or something. And one of the times that he's done that, he made a comment about Lincoln wearing a shawl. And ever since then, if he puts something around his shoulders, I just say, oh, yeah, there you are, Mr. President Lincoln with your shawl. And he just, smirks and he's going to his chair. So I didn't realize they actually I printed out a picture so I could see it really big. They actually have Lincoln's shawl in a museum. This is his shawl folded into fourths. And I thought, I can make that. It's a dark wool shawl that he used to wear around his shoulders on cold nights at the White House. And my dad has mentioned Lincoln's shawl for over a decade now, at least, every time he wraps some type of blanket around himself. And I thought, wouldn't that be perfect? So Christmas is coming in. His birthday is January 2nd. I don't think I'm going to get it done by then. It would be amazing if I did. But Lincoln's shawl was 62.5 inches by 63 inches. And I want to say it probably started out at 63 by 63, but And that's a big shawl, that's a big rectangular shawl. That's a lap blanket. That is what that is. So I could do it, but I probably won't get it done until next year. And I looked for a pattern for it, and there's not one. There's just not. And I don't know if that's because, like,
it's not like you can't have Lincoln's name in it, and so I'm not searching for the right thing. Maybe if I looked for like a presidential shawl or something, it would come up. But I couldn't find it anywhere. So once I get it figured out on how to knit it, because the original shawl was woven. So if you look up Lincoln shawl, you can actually find finished objects of like woven shawls that people sell, which are beautiful. And if it's in the Christmas budget, I might just buy for him. But I think it would be a cool knit. I think it would be cool to have. And so I'm still contemplating whether I should spend the money on the yarn or spend the money on the finished woven shawl. Anyway, that's something I need to sort through. So what are your criteria for gift knitting? Like, this is my first year that I'm even considering gift knitting, and I have given knits to my family mostly without occasion. So I'm struggling to find the criteria with which to measure how much time or how much effort I will be putting into gift knits. Bear in mind, I'm not the fastest knitter. I'm not. And so maybe a pair of socks for my mom is just, just the right thing to have as my goal for after I get my mitts and socks done for my siblings. Maybe that's just good to have just that. But if any of you have some tips, I've been thinking about sending some yarn to get cranked so that the socks would take almost no time. That would be cool, because I can get like the heels and toes done in a day. I can do that. So maybe not the toes with the... I'm thinking about doing the words in duplicate stitch. So maybe that would take another day, but that's not bad. That's not bad. 2 days for a pair of socks. Yeah. Anyway, let me know your criteria for gift knitting, because I would find that very helpful. And thanks for sitting with me, especially for so long this time. I hope to be coming back next week with clue 3 of my Shawlography done, but it's so big now. We shall see. I am going to be putting this yarn away now and then going to bed, and hopefully all my kids will stay asleep. So happy knitting, and if you're watching this at night, which I know a lot of us do, you are allowed to go to bed whenever you want. Good night.